Hi, I'm Jared. This is Pickin' Politics. Term limits. If there was one thing, if we could only make one change, and we were limited to one choice to make to try to turn our country back in the direction that our founding fathers intended for it to go, if there was one thing we could do, it would be term limits. Quick explanation of term limits. After 4 terms of a Franklin Delano Roosevelt presidency, the Congress didn't want to have to see a president for 16 years again. So they voted term limits for the office of the presidency. It's something they've never even thought about doing for themselves, but something we gravely need. 2 terms. You serve 2 terms, and then you got to go back to doing whatever it is you were doing before you became a congressman. Power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely, no matter how righteous the government participant in the beginning. There are people who go to Congress, altruistic as Shirley Temple, set on righting all the wrongs, but then they get power, they get comfortable. They get wined and dined and showered with praise and gifts and accolades, and it's intoxicating. Many of our leaders in Congress are drunk with power. They've lost sight on why they originally went to Washington, D.C. So let's boil it down for you. We've had conversations, myself and some of my friends, and some of them have said, hey, why don't you run for office, man? Why don't you go and try to do something, make a change? Jared goes to Congress. First year, rookie senator, does all the right things. Votes for the things he said he was going to vote for, as little amount of vote swapping as possible, votes on principle, and is true to his beliefs. Gets reelected. Second term, really knows the ropes now, is able to do a lot of good and does a lot of good. Does a little bit of vote swapping, does a little bit of compromising, because after all, he gets to know people who really need things. The problem is a lot of those people are in power, and they don't necessarily represent the people. Jared's lucky enough to be elected to a 3rd term. He's real comfortable in what's going on now. Soon into his 3rd term, he gets a phone call from a good friend of his. Hey, Jared, this is Tom. Hey, Tom, what's up, man? I really appreciate all the help you did in getting me elected both times. Really appreciated your support. What's that? Well, yeah, you believe in me. You know what? I'm trying to do what's right for our country. You're going to lose your business? You pour the best concrete in all of Iowa. Yeah, they're going to foreclose on your house? Well, okay. Well, I don't know. What can I do? Oh, yeah, there's a new community center opening up in your town, and they're accepting bids. The city is accepting bids. And I know you pour good concrete. Why don't you just put your bid in there? It looks like it's going to go to somebody else. Somebody who has union members working for them. Are you sure they're not going to accept your bid? You pour concrete as good as the next guy. All right, let me see what I can do. So I get off the phone and I think, you know what? That community center is probably going to be better because Tom is pouring the concrete on the foundation. I make my phone calls. Tom gets to pour the concrete. It started out innocently. This good friend of mine who believed in me, who helped bankroll my election, because I didn't have enough money to buy the media buys and the TV spots and all the radios, and he helped me get elected. He hasn't bothered me in 2.5 years because he just really believed in me. But all of a sudden, he fell on hard times. So I make a choice. I'm not going to make this longer than you guys get the picture. We need term limits. Even the best of men are corrupted when they have power. Congress shouldn't be the end game where you retire a multimillionaire fat cat influence as a lobbyist. I've heard the argument, well, no, you need to be in there several years so you learn the ropes and you know how this thing is done. You don't always want to be sending new guys in there, newbies. You do. You want rookies in there. Because after a couple of terms, everybody would be a rookie. There'd be no rookie competing with a 40-year-old Byrd or a 35-year, 7-term Ted Kennedy, or everybody would be on the same playing field. There'd be no good old boy network. There would still be corruption. There would still be some people willing to go over to the dark side, but it would be the exception, more than what we have today, where corruption is the rule. You should serve, and when you leave, you should leave with no ties. Read up a little bit more about term limits. And if you think they're right, then it's time to bear your political testimony. I'm Jared. This is Pickin' Politics.